Well, greetings everyone. I hope you're having a great day thus far. I want to welcome you back to my channel, Conversations Over Coffee. The business name is Heal and Thrive Hub, if you don't know. So if you like this content, I would love for you to subscribe, comment, and hit that notification bell when I upload new videos, as well as share the content. So today I am coming in and I'm going to be talking about 5 signs that you're in a trauma bond. So if you're interested in today's topic, please go ahead and continue. And also I want to let you know that I have developed tools for you to help you with setting boundaries. If you're in certain cycles that keep repeating itself in toxic relationships, then I have 2 card decks that are down below, and I will basically put the links in the description below, so this way if you're interested in purchasing them, you can go ahead and do so. And when I set up my Patreon page, which I believe I've done, but I don't know if it's for this channel, but you can also get a discount on those card decks through my Patreon page. So I would love to have you there. So let's get into today's topic. So I created some notes because I know me. I'm the type of person that I usually get downloads in the midst of recording a video. So I have to keep myself on track. So this is the reason why I have to have notes. So this way I could stay on topic just in case I veer off a little bit. So the first sign of if you're in a trauma bond is you feel addicted to the highs and lows. When they pull away, you crave them even when they hurt you. And the thing about that is because a lot of times when we get into relationships with, romantic partners, because that's what I'm going to be speaking about in this video, because there's a whole lot of different trauma bonds that we can have, but I'm talking about romantic relationships. So when we're in a trauma bond with a person that is somebody that we are either married to or someone that we have invested time and energy into, and so now they can be the type of person who is, maybe they are like flighty with their energy. Like one day they're like cuddly, one day they're just like all over you. They're just very, the emotions, you just feel it and you just feel like, oh, okay, maybe they were just going through something. And this can play a lot on your mental, because sometimes you'll think, well, I know, the last couple of days, we were getting along, we were talking, we were, watching movies, cuddling up. Then the next couple of days, like it's just like they're this night and day person. It's this person who just basically shuts down. And if you're living with this person, especially if you're married to them, it will even come off as maybe one day they'll just get up and you'll, just be going about your regular day, and you'll notice their energy is totally off. They're not speaking, and you'll say, good morning, whatever. And they're like, They don't even basically give you like a response, and you'll be like, oh, what's wrong with you? Nothing. Like, it's just basically one word answers. So you're basically in your head like, well, what's going on with them? And maybe for the first day or so, or when you're new to this type of treatment, you'll kind of just shrug it off, as maybe they're just dealing with something. So you'll kind of like not paying attention, and then you'll just wait for things to get back to normal. But when you're used to going through this person changing up, who they are, changing, their energy, not speaking, and making you feel as if you've done something wrong. And sometimes you'll even go to them and say, what's wrong? Is it something I said or something I've done? And they're like, no. But you're like feeling like it's like a vendetta or something against you that you've done. And then after a while, that starts to play on your mental, because then you're now feeling what I would say, they're not as affectionate as they were before. They don't want to do certain things with you. Or even if you do, sit down and say, well, let's have a movie tonight. I'll cook dinner, let's sit down and watch a movie. Let's Netflix and chill. And they're like, all right, well, and then you're waiting for them to step up like, okay, you pick the movie. Like, it's just basically where you're putting all this effort into it and they're not putting anything in it. And you're basically just sitting back like, what is going on? I'm trying to do everything I can to help them pick up their mood or whatever is going on. But then after a while, you start noticing that it starts playing on your mental, because now you're looking at it as, what have I done? Why they're not talking? If they're going through something, why they're not sharing what they're dealing with. So maybe this way, maybe they need to talk it through or whatever the situation is. But then the next maybe week or so, they're back to normal. They're back to this bubbly person, or they're back to this person. Now they're engaging with you again. They're telling you how beautiful you are. And now you're thinking that you're crazy. You're thinking that like, well, what is going on? Because that energy is not making you feel it's not making you feel stable. It's just like in and out energy. And when you start noticing that, you have to understand that this person is really dealing with their own mental instability, and they don't know how to handle it. And it may come off as, you thinking, it may come off to you as though you did something wrong. And sometimes this person wants you to feel insecure. This person wants you to feel and do every little thing to make them feel better about themselves, when only they have the power to do so. So you have to understand that when somebody is displaying this type of behavior, it's basically that they are dealing with their own mindset. They're dealing with, their thoughts. They're dealing with how they handle things. And even if they're in a relationship and you could say, well, when we first met, it wasn't like this, because they were wearing a mask. They're not going to show you the true person in the beginning, because they're trying to get you. They're trying to make you believe in them. They're trying to make you to be comfortable with them, so you'll let down your guard. But once you become invested, now they have to show up as that real person, because now who they are is who is going to come out eventually. So you have to make a decision. Like when you start noticing certain behaviors within a person, understand that it has nothing to do with you, unless you are doing something to cause that. Like, you have to examine your own behaviors, that you're not putting this person in this type of energy. And when I say that, I'm not saying it for them to make you feel responsible for their own healing or their own inner wounds. No, we don't do that. What I'm saying is making sure that you're not doing things that bring this person into a state of mind that makes them question, their self-worth or their confidence. But if it's their energy that's basically in and out all the time, up and down, and it has you basically to the point where, some women put up with this, because, I would hear some women say, oh, well, they're in their mood again. I just ignore them when they get like that, because they have put up with it so long that they don't even realize this person is not stable. This person has mental issues, and not to say it in a bad way, but they don't know how to deal with their emotions. They don't know how to deal with, being authentically themselves. These are type of people who don't want to feel pain. They'd rather sit in silence and suffer, but make you feel as though you're the problem. And we're not doing that, right? So let me get to the next one, number 2. So number 2 is, you feel responsible for fixing or healing them. Their happiness feels like your job. And this is something that I can really identify, because I remember back in, the time when I was, with my husband, there were times where I would just feel like, okay, well, why, when I didn't know and see the patterns, because you have to understand how many years you have been with this person, whether you're living with them or not, there is a pattern there. And you have to understand that pattern. If you continually see something being repeated, like they're gaslighting you, when you know that they're saying something that, is not true, or making you believe something that, like, no, I know that, and I'll give you a perfect example of how this type of person, and I don't want to use the word narc, because I just want to use somebody who's dealing with, mental issues. They don't know how to feel. They don't know how to manage their feelings or emotions. They walk around with a lot of wounded, like inner childhood wounds. They have a very envious, jealous spirit, and sometimes towards their own spouse, towards the person they're married to, towards the person they're connected to. And you were like, well, why would you be envious of your husband or wife when you married them? It's because sometimes people see the light in you. They see, your intelligence. They see, how you handle problems and issues, and you don't let it get you down. You don't let it bother you. You get back up. You know how to transmute that negative energy and basically keep it pushing forward. Not to say that you don't go through things, but you know how to not to let it affect other people around you. You don't take out on other people what you're dealing with internally, where they basically, it's almost like they're making you pay for things that they've been through. And I think that is just, something that they really need counseling with. Like, why are you trying to punish someone because you were hurt maybe back in your childhood? And a lot of times these people who have these type of behaviors deal with mother wounds, and we don't understand that sometimes within certain family dynamics, the mother could have abandon a child. And when I say abandon, meaning not abandon them physically, like moving away from them, maybe abandon them within the family. Maybe there were other siblings that they didn't pay attention to this child. This child was always the one that had to do everything in the house. When things, when something happened, they were the one that got blamed. They were the one that got punished. Or maybe when this person was going through situations where they needed the mother's help, or they needed the mother to be there for them, they wouldn't do it. But with the other children, they would always be there for the other children, and it caused it to be a wound there. So now when they grow up and they become an adult, maybe they don't even recognize it themselves, that when they get into relationships with women, especially women who give them the and I'm gonna say this very carefully, that give them the sense of that person reminds them of their mother. Not that they look like their mother, but they have that nurturing, like that, those characteristics of their mother. Like, because the mother could still be nurturing. It's just that she didn't nurture them. You know what I'm saying? Or certain things that person can say, or certain things that person can do. So now they're looking at you as the person who caused them the pain. So who else are they going to take it out on? They're going to take it out on you, because you're basically the closest one to them, even though there's other children, there's other family members in that dynamic, but you are the one that they're going to focus that negative energy on, because of your light, because of your good heart, because sometimes even in that mentality that is sometimes so twisted, they want to break your strength, because they don't understand, how can you go through so much? How can you overcome so much and still be this happy-go-lucky person that just keeps your chin up? Not to say they don't, like, behind closed doors, you probably crying out to God, like, God, please take this pain away from me. Help me to get through this problem. And once you get up off your knees, you like, hey, okay, I done gave it to God. I'm good. But these people don't know how to do that. They don't know how to put certain things in, God's hands for him to handle it. They think that, okay, God takes too long. Oh, I don't believe in God because I remember when I prayed this prayer for help, he didn't come through. So now they got a vendetta with God. They got a vendetta with everybody that is around them. So now it makes it where now they basically, spill over those wounds to hurt other people that they claim that they love. And then I just want to interject this. In the time that I would realize that the only time that this person, and maybe you can attest to this too, the only time that this person would do what I would say good toward me, or have any type of affection toward me, is when I was at the brink of leaving. When I'm like, okay, I'm leaving. I'm going to go stay with, a family member. Oh, please don't leave me. I love you, and you're a good woman, and you're beautiful. But all during the times that we're together, I don't hear that. All the times that we're together, okay, now you want to come and buy me flowers when you mess up. And then it gets to the point where we now look at affection and attention is when you've done something bad. That's the only time that we'll get some type of good treatment. And even a good friend, me and her, one time we were sitting and talking, and like things she was sharing with me, what she was dealing with in her marriage and things like that. And it was basically the same thing. I'm like, what is going on? Do these men take the same advice from the He-Man Women's Hater Club handbook that says, okay, I'm going to buy her flowers now because I know I messed up. But instead of me saying I'm sorry, let me go get her flowers, or let me go get her favorite, food or something that I know that she likes, because that way she will know what that means without me saying it. And we know that, but it's basically because sometimes we as women, we've been so invested in something so long, we don't know how to move on from it. We don't have an exit plan to say my mental health is important, me having my confidence is important. So with that being said, we have to make sure that we're not trying to overextend ourselves to make someone feel good about themselves when they're not doing the work on their own mental health. They have to understand. And a lot of times I used to say, let's go to counseling. Oh, I don't want nobody in my business. And I think that's an excuse. And I'm like, well, hey, if you don't want to go to counseling, whatever, with me, then go for yourself. But the whole thing about it is that people don't want to be exposed. They don't want to look at themselves as, I was wrong in saying this. I was wrong in doing this. I was wrong in treating him or her that way, because now I have to take accountability for my actions. And then if I turn that view or introspection on myself, then I'm going to look at myself as a bad person. And that's really going to shatter the image that I have created for myself, for me to even function and flow through society, because I'm not even showing up as my authentic self. I'm showing up as a shell of a person, right? And the thing that people don't understand is that you're not a bad person, you're a flawed person. And there's healing for that, because if your wounds stem from childhood, stem from somebody mistreating you, touching you, abusing you, that is not your fault, but it is your fault to heal. It is let me say, not to say your fault to heal. Let me rephrase that. It is your responsibility to heal. That's what I want to say. It's not your fault that you had to go through whatever happened to you, but it is your responsibility to heal, so you don't now take that energy and now cause somebody else mental issues because you haven't dealt with your own. Okay, I think I stayed on that topic a little bit long. So let's go to the third one. Okay, so the third one is you minimize or deny how bad they treat you. You say things like, it's not bad, or they're just hurt. And we cannot minimize a person's bad behavior. We can no longer be in relationships or cycles where we get used to people treating us wrong. Like, why are we doing that? Because that just goes to show that we don't have our own self-love or self-worth or self-confidence. And this is the reason why I don't have them in here with me now, my cards, but this is why I created tools like Loving Yourself First and Breaking Karmic Cycles. Because in order for you to really attract the person who is going to be on the level you are, you got to do some inner healing. If you keep attracting people who are broken and have trauma and all these mother wounds and father wounds and all these different types of situations in their lives, then how are you ever going to heal? Because you're just bonding with someone that has trauma. You're basically mirroring each other. And I could say that I did have trauma when we met. And the thing that I'll go into that in another one, because I'll get way off track. But what I want to say with that is that let me see. Let me give you an example. They yell at you, call you names, or lie, but you say, it's not like they hit me. Everyone argues sometimes. They only act that way when they're stressed. And this is what we have to understand. Just because someone is not physically abusing you, which we know if it's physical abuse, you shouldn't be there anyway. But sometimes abuse can come in the form of them verbally abusing you. To me, that puts mental scars on you. That puts emotional scars on you. When somebody is calling you out of your name or calling you, oh, this is why I don't want to sleep with you, or this is why, the reason why I cheat, or this is the reason why I come home late, because you this type of person, and every time I try to, get affectionate with you, you push me away. Well, damn it, why you think I push you away? Because the way you've been treating me. And this is what people don't understand. A person who has a warped sense of, what is even the word, a warped mindset, that will believe that you can treat me really badly. And sometimes it's not even in what you say, it's the things that you do, it's how you don't pay attention, it's how there's no love there. It's almost like you're just basically living with a roommate, and then they feel as though now when they want to be intimate with you that they can just come now and you know, have an intimate moment with you when you're like, wait a minute, you ain't even spoke 2 words to me in over a couple of months. So why would, you know, you think that that is basically like, you think I'm a robot? I'm just supposed to like have this feeling for you romantically when you treat me like trash for the past 30 days, when you don't speak, or when you do speak, it's short words, or you go out, you come in, you don't say nothing. Maybe you just ask me for, you know, a couple of things. Maybe we exchange a couple of words, but it's basically like you're in your space, I'm in my space. How is that a healthy relationship? And there's so many women that deal with that. There's so many women that deal with that. And they develop the mindset, well, as long as he pay the bills. They even to the point where they didn't even care if he out there cheating. Long as he don't come in here touching me, I don't care. Like, long as he pay the bills and there's food in the house, I don't care. Like, and why would you want to live with that type of existence? Don't you think that you're worth more than that? Don't you think that you deserve more than that? And I'm speaking that because I've lived through that. And what I would say that my issue was with the reason why I stayed too long is because I didn't know how to get out of it. I didn't know how to free myself from that situation, because a lot of times when you're in that type of situation, that partner is financially abusing you, meaning that they are, or even if you are making money or bringing money into the home, they make it to where they're making sure that you don't have enough money to leave them. They're making sure that the finances are very strained, so you can't get out of that situation with them. So you almost feeling like you're stuck there. You're almost feeling like, okay, well, this is my lot in life. Let me just deal with whatever I got to deal with. And we create this illusion that, okay, I'm okay. You know, I got a roof over my head. I got food on the table. Let me be thankful for that. But I'm sorry, the word of God says that he called us to have life and have life in abundance, to the full, to the overflow. So you need to ask yourself, am I living an abundant life? And I'm not saying that abundant life doesn't even mean about sometimes monetary things. It means, do you have peace at the end of the day? When you lay your head down on your pillow, do you have peace in the situation that you're in? Do you know that you know, are not stressing about things because this person in your life is unfulfilled in their life, and now they're making you feel unfulfilled with them? That's the dynamic that needs to be broken. That's the things that need to be changed within a unit or a marriage or a relationship or connection. You need to start vetting people early when you start meeting them. You need to start understanding how they think, how they move, and even if they lie and you know, well, you know, people lie these days. People don't tell the truth. They tell you what you want to hear. But let me tell you something. You have your intuition, and you have discernment, and then you have prayer. So you got 3 things that's working in your favor. There's basically, and sometimes we have to wait on the Most High to give us instruction in order for us not to move so fast. Sometimes we want to be in a connection, in a relationship so bad that we bypass all of the vetting, bypass all of the red flags, because, oh, well, it's summertime, it's springtime, I just want to be with someone, you know, during this season, or it's wintertime, it's fall, it's, you know, fall season, oh, it's cuffing season, I don't want to be in the winter by myself. You better learn to love your own self in your own space until God brings you who is suitable for you. That's the way I can say that. So let me go to the 4th one, because we kind of getting along in time here. And this is just what I was saying. You fear, sign number 4, and the title of this again is 5 signs that you're in a trauma bond. You fear abandonment more than mistreatment. Being alone feels worse than being I would say, you fear abandonment more than mistreatment. Being alone feels more than being disrespected. Or I would even say being abandoned. You rather be in a situation with a person who is mistreating you, instead of you being alone and being in your own space and having your own peace. Like what mindset is that? And I'm not here to condemn anyone, but I'm here to help you to think, to really think and understand. When you make a decision, and let me say this because I've lived this, and when you make a decision to say, I've had enough, I don't want to live like this anymore, I'm tired, I've come to the point where I realize that this is not the life that the Most High has created for me to live. And God, I'm done. I don't know what tomorrow looks like. I don't know how to get out of this. I don't have the resources to get out of it. All I know, God, is I'm done. So you're going to have to help me to create a strategy to, exit stage left. And let me tell you something. When you say you're done, God will move heaven and earth to make sure that you leave that situation, because he says that is not his best for his son or his daughter. And I am a living witness, because going through that, when I said, now, and then let me just throw this out here. When I said, and I'm going to make it clear at the end of this point. When I said, God, I'm done. I don't know how you're going to do it. I don't have the resources, but I'm done. I don't want to live like this anymore. I don't care about what things I've accumulated with this person, what things I got to leave behind. If I got to leave with the clothes on my back, long as I have my peace of mind, because that marriage was basically giving me multiple nervous breakdowns. And I was like, I can't lose myself in this situation anymore. I need for you to take control. Now, when we ask God to take control, how he takes control is the way he's going to take control. We may have to go through some more pain in order to release that, because let me tell you something about the enemy does not want you to walk in your purpose. So he's going to make getting out of a situation seem so hard, so debilitating, so gut-wrenching that you were like, oh no, I don't want to go through that. Let me just go ahead and just stay. No, because that you're still slowly dying. I'd rather get out of a situation going through the pain that I need to go through to get to my better place than to stay in a situation and slowly be dying in it. Okay. And when I had to go through my situation and how the Most High orchestrated it, he orchestrated it where he left me. He abandoned me. No, I didn't have resources to move or whatever. Me and my daughter, at the time she was sick, going through her own health issues. So we basically were homeless. We had to go and stay with a friend for 2 months. But let me tell you something. God created a miracle. He opened the door through a friend that I knew who had already passed away, but she introduced me to this other woman who I would connect with every now and then. And I would tell her, I just called her, and she was asking me how I was doing. And I was explaining to her, what I was dealing with, what I was going through. And out of the blue, she was like, let me tell you something. I got a house over here. You and your daughter are welcome to it. This is how much I'll charge you. You don't have to worry. You got a place to stay. Just let me know when you're ready to move. Now, I had to come to a different state in order to receive that blessing. But the blessing was a miracle, because what she was charging me is unheard of. There ain't nobody paying that amount of money unless they own the place. And maybe even if they own the place, they still ain't paying the amount of money that she had, quoted for me and my daughter to stay right where you see me sitting right now, with my own office, my own bedroom, bathroom, backyard, everywhere, driveway, everywhere, everything that I never thought that I could walk into. And this is just only the beginning. This is just only the beginning of me coming out of a situation. So there is another level to now where I am going. And I want to say the same thing to you. I don't know why this thing keeps coming up on my thing. So I want to say the same thing to you. Never think that just because you feel as though I don't know how this thing is going to work out, because I didn't know how it was going to work out. I was basically at a place where I just was crying. My girlfriend was like, Michelle, I know this is hurtful to you, but God is gonna, bring you through it. He's gonna, and I couldn't see it. All at the time, I was just running back and forth because my daughter was sick. She was in the hospital. So all I was doing was just going, making sure she was okay, making sure she was getting her medicine. Certain things I had to put in storage because certain things I didn't want to lose, but end up having to lose it anyway. Because when it was time for me to transition to where I am now, I had to basically say everything has to go except what I could, put in my truck and basically drive to another state in order for me and my child, who she's an adult anyway, but in order for me and her to be good. And from there, I see the Most High has continually prospered us. Not to say we haven't gone through challenges, we haven't gone through certain things, of course, because that's just a part of life. But it has been 100 times better than me living in a place feeling like I'm in prison, but I'm not in jail, because I was in prison in my mind. Sometimes we don't have to be in a physical jail cell to feel imprisoned. You can be in a place, in a house, in a place with a person who you thought that, you loved to death, but you're in a prison. Because that's not really the person who God has aligned for you. That's the person that's just holding you back from your purpose. But once you get the courage and to say enough is enough, whatever I need to go through to get to the next place, I'm willing to go through it. Because if I've been going through what I've been going through with this person, I can make it. Because each day, whether I got to break down and cry, whether I got to journal, whether I got to, talk to someone or find a therapist to get my emotions out, I done it. And I'm still doing it. I mean, it hasn't stopped. I'm still proactive in making sure Michelle is okay. So now with the last one is, you feel depleted, but leaving feels impossible. You know it's unhealthy, but you stay anyway. And this is something that I believe I said earlier. When we stay in a situation or relationship that is unhealthy because we're afraid of the fear of the unknown, we continue to have that cycle. And this is why, again, I created that card deck, Breaking Karmic Cycles. Because when we're in a cycle, guess what? If we don't learn the lesson, and what is the lesson when we're going through cycles? To value yourself. To put yourself first, not in a selfish way, but in a way where you know that you are being confident in a healthy way, not that you're arrogant and conceited and all those things. Putting yourself first means that you're focusing on making sure you're good, especially if you're in a connection with someone who has mental issues, that they're all over the place. They don't know how to control their emotions. They are all over the place in their spending. Every time you turn around, they're getting you into debt. They're don't do things that's compromising. I remember this it was just to the point where I was just about to break, because at the time my husband was doing some type of like little business. He was selling like water, juices and things like that, and he was getting really a good profit from it. And the thing about it wasn't caring about that part, but the part of, especially if you're a woman and you are one who loves to keep your house clean, love to keep things in decency and order, because that's your safe space, that's your sanctuary. And he would always just make the refrigerator was just so packed out. Every time I can't even cook a meal because he would have all his products in there, and I would say, okay, listen, can we compromise? Can we get maybe a deep freezer or another little refrigerator, and you can put your products and stuff in there, so that way when I'm cooking a meal or I'm doing certain things, then this way, I can have the space to do that. So it was like, yeah, okay, all right. Went and got it, but guess what? Still did what he said he wasn't going to do. And then I'm like, well, why? What was the point if you're still going to do this? And he would just look at me sometimes and laugh and like look at me and just like wouldn't even care about how I felt when I'm trying to basically, do things for the family. So it got to the point where it wasn't about, I don't care what you want. I'm going to do what I want to do, and you just going to have to deal with it. And it got to the point where it was just showing me so much disrespect. So when I felt like, okay, this is how you want to do it, then I know that arguing got to the point where I went just basically what they call it, gray rock or something where you basically don't even conversate with the person. You don't give them any energy, because this type of person wants to pull you in, wants to get you frustrated, wants to get you aggravated, wants to get you into a cycle where now they are taking that energy, even though it's negative, and they're feeding off of it, because now, oh yeah, I got them out of their character. Oh yeah, I got them all riled up. Oh yeah, I got them upset. So now when things happen or when certain situations would go down and I would just look And I would just go in my room and close my door, and it would irk them because now, oh wow, she's not saying anything anymore. She's not upset anymore. What's going on? What is she doing? Because see, now people don't understand how you're moving. They don't know what you're going to do because you're moving in silence now. And that's how you have to do. You can't tell somebody that is basically with that type of mindset and that type of energy, oh, well, I'm leaving you now because this is the last straw. Because how many times we said that? How many times we said, oh, I'm leaving you now. I can't deal with this. But we still stayed there, right? So now you have to let your actions speak louder than your words. So that is the 5 signs of when you are in a trauma bond with someone. So my prayer and my encouragement for you is, if any of these signs you have recognized in your relationship or connections, then you need to make some changes. And I would say the first change you need to make is go in and ask yourself, why are you dealing with this type of behavior? Why are you dealing? It doesn't matter if it's a husband or a wife, or, y'all got, sometimes we let things as far as, oh, well, we got all these assets together, and then if I leave them, now I'm going to have to pay them this, or they going to take my car, they going to take my house. Is your peace worth more than that house or that car? Why are we letting material things keep us from enjoying life? I can never understand that when you can get those things again. Why are you, I just don't want them to have this because I don't want them to have one over me. Who cares? Like, why are we so invested in what a person can walk away from a marriage or a connection with because we think now look at them. Oh, I got this from them. I got them from that. Why are you worried about that when you're trying to get out for your own sobriety, your own peace, your own purpose for you to move forward in life? Don't you know that there's more things out there that God can open up to you, a relationship or just different opportunities, but you're so worried about what this person is going to get or not get, or what you're trying to withhold from them. That is not the energy that we need to be in. We need to be in the energy that, listen, you can have it. I wish you the best. I'm out. Okay, so I hope that you've gotten some insight into today's video. If you have, leave some comments below and let me know. And then you can also let me know what other topics around relationships that you want me to do, so I can come over and I can provide you with that type of content. So have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.